ขอบคุณค่ะ I'm so glad to see you today. You are even more beautiful than you were last night. Now, who was not here yesterday? Stand up. Stand up if you weren't here yesterday. I know. Every person matters. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. We didn't shake hands. We gave hugs yesterday.
Glad to meet you.
Oh, glad to see you again. Thank you. Did I miss anybody else? Oh, hi. Good to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. Did we get everybody? She was here. She was here. All right. Wow. What did you think of last night? How was our celebration last night? It was awesome. I had so much fun with you. So today, I want to talk about what I think are the most important things in our business. And I'm going to show you some things today. First of all, some love to you from my wife. Interesting thing, you know that both Stephanie and I have been divorced. So we know what it's like to have a broken heart, what it's like to be by yourself, to be a single parent. And one thing that we talk about with people who are looking to be in relationships, especially those who've been in broken-hearted relationships and who've experienced divorce. So many times, people have a breakup and they think it's the other person's problem. Now, of course, maybe that other person really isn't a very nice person. Maybe they did some bad things to you, or they hurt you, or they betrayed you, or they ignored you. But you still have to take responsibility for you. So many people, after they have a breakup or a divorce, they go out to date again. And they find that they attract the same kind of person. That's not the other person's problem, that's your problem. So what Stephanie and I learned from being single parents was that we really needed to start focusing and changing us. And so when on that Saturday night 10 years ago, I looked across the dance floor and I saw this beautiful woman in a pink shirt and I asked her to dance. She had already been working on improving herself. And I had been working on improving myself, changing me, so that when we came together, we were a perfect match. That has nothing to do with the training, but that's a little about my love story. And let me tell you, we are in love. Woo! All right. We have trainings and we often talk about the how. And we need to talk about the how. It's one of the 4 important parts of your success. How do I build this business? How do I talk to people? How do I create new connections, new friendships? How do I create content for social media that will attract other people? How do I use Telegram? How do I use Instagram? How do I use YouTube? How do I do a presentation? How do I sell product? How do I lead other people? These are all important questions. And if you want to be a professional, you must absolutely learn the how. You must develop the skill. But today I'm not going to talk about that. That's another day. The second important thing that you need to know for your business is what? What do you want to accomplish? What is your mission? What are your goals? What type of life do you want to be living? And so many people do not have written, clear goals. They don't know what they want. They don't know where they want to go. And so if somebody says, well, where do you want to go? Or what do you want? Are you familiar with the story Alice in Wonderland? And the Cheshire Cat says to Alice, where do you want to go? And if you don't know where you want to go, then it doesn't matter where you go from here. If you don't know what you want, if you want to be successful, you need to know what you want. But we're not going to talk about that today. Deeper than the what is the why. Why do you want that? You see, you might want $1 million, but that's not what's so powerful about the goal. It's why do you want that? I'll tell you a quick story. We were doing a training in our team and we were talking about the why. So the question was, why do you want to do this business? And one gentleman said, I want to buy a boat. And this is something you need to know as a leader. Don't stop at the first answer. Don't stop on the surface. Go deeper. So the question is, why do you want that boat? Well, because when I was a kid, I went fishing on the boat with my dad. Okay, now as a leader, you have a choice. Are you going to stop right there or are you going to go deeper? Why is that experience so important to you? Well, because those were some of the best days and experiences and memories and connection with my dad. And so now what we start to see is the what is the boat, but what really is driving it is the emotion that we call the why. So you want a boat so that you can go fishing with your dad again? No, my dad's passed, but I have a daughter. So why is this boat so important for you and your daughter? Because I've been working so hard in my profession that I realize that I have not given my daughter the connection, the fishing experiences, the memories that I had with my dad. And I don't want to live my life working and ignoring that opportunity with my daughter. So I want to buy the boat. Now, if you remember why you want to take your daughter fishing and to create those memories, it is going to compel you and inspire you to do the work. And that is the power of understanding your why. But we're not going to talk about training why today. You'll have to come back next time. So what is below all of these? What is the foundation? Who? Foundational to all of this is who. You can get really good at the skills and how to build business, but if you forget the who, if you really never find out who you are, it will be fleeting. That success will be temporary. It will be without the full amount of joy. But today we're not going to talk about the who. I'm just kidding. Today we are going to talk about the who. I teased some of you last night about this story. I'm going to actually relate it to everybody. You're all familiar with NASA. NASA is an organization committed to miracles, to the impossible, to pushing the limits of our abilities as humans, to really ask who we are. And when we think of NASA, I often think of a lot of really smart people, geniuses. So in the 1960s, NASA actually started conducting some research, and they wanted to understand a little more about genius. And so they found 1,600 young children that they were going to start doing some testing and some research with. And the ages of these children were very young. They were 3, 4, and 5 years old. And they wanted to see how these children adapted and were able to solve problems. So they actually were giving these children problems and tests that were meant for adults to see how well these children could creatively solve the problem. And what they found out is that these young children were really creative. In fact, what they found was that these children were geniuses. Do you all know what a genius is? Somebody who's really intelligent, really creative. They can do things that most people can't. They can solve problems that most people can't. And they found that these 3, 4, and 5-year-old children, most of them were geniuses. In fact, they found that 98% of these young children were geniuses. And so they continued to follow these children as they aged. And what they found is that when they were 10 years old, only 30% of these kids were still geniuses. Now keep in mind, This is the same group of kids. Same group of kids. A few years ago, 98% of them are geniuses. And now these same kids who are now older, who have learned more, who've had more experiences, only 30% of them are geniuses. A few years go by and they decide we're going to test these kids again. And at 15 years old, only 12% of these same children are still geniuses. What is happening? This is alarming. The research continues. Adulthood. As adults, only 2% of these kids still retain their genius. And they started to ask questions. How could this happen? What has influenced this generation, 1,600 children, to go from almost everybody is a genius, from 98% to 2%? What could have happened? What kind of experiences could they have had? What changed in these children's environment that could influence and elicit such an incredible negative outcome in their lives? Let's look at this. When do we see the change? Mainly, and we already start seeing this change somewhere between 5 and 10 years old. What happens? What are some major events in children's lives sometime between 5 years old and 10 years old? School. That's actually what the researchers found. And the researchers believed that the major influence for the decrease and the diminishment of the genius activity in these children was actually their participation and forced participation to a different type of learning style that is implemented in school. And we actually perpetuate that same problem because we go from school as children in schools, elementary, middle school, high school, and then to universities and colleges. We continue the same trajectory, and then we put adults into work, which is a lot like the schools. Everybody get in your desk. Everybody do your work, right? Show up on time. Be quiet. Raise your hand. And that's where you have been. When I understood this research, it made me want to change how I talk to, how I inspire, how I educate and teach my children. How do I educate my children? And you know, we homeschool. So how do Stephanie and I, and my mother, who actually lives with us full time and is the girls' #1 academic teacher for homeschool, how do we incorporate this understanding into education so that we inspire, encourage, nurture the genius in our children instead of squashing the genius from 98% to 2%? You see, I don't think what we're looking at here is how they're obtaining knowledge. I don't think what we're looking at here is how they're learning. I think what we're looking at here is how we are changing their perception of their identity so they're confusing who they are. And we don't change as adults. All right, they're about, I don't know, how many people do we have here? 50, 100? About 60? 60, 50, 60? Okay, so that means there's only one genius in here. Would the genius stand up, please? Okay, so I'm wondering why everybody isn't saying, it's me. I want the genius in this room to stand up, please. Okay, so here's my question. Like, why are you sitting down? Are you a genius because I say you're a genius? I have no business saying what you are. I have no business in projecting an identity on you that is not accurate. Now, if we were in a room of little kids right now, 3 to 5-year-olds, and if we could explain to them what it means to be a genius, and then we said, all right, all you kids, whoever the genius is in this room, stand up. What would they do? How many would stand up? They'd always stand up like this. Yeah, that's me, that's me, that's me. But you went to school and we changed you. Don't do that. Don't get up during class. Don't do this. Stop, stop, stop it. And so now as adults, if you know that only 1 out of 50 is probably a genius, and I say, okay, the one person stand up, you kind of look to your right, and you look to your left, and you're like, oh, they're already standing up. That's not how geniuses think. So, I want you to be a kid. What would a kid do? Can we get some music? Can we get some music with a beat, please? All right. We're going to do a test now. We're going to do the NASA test on you right now. All right. I want you for the next 30 seconds, I want you to do what a kid would do, a genius kid would do, if I said, you have 1 minute free time in this room. This is starting to be fun. I like this kind of business training. Oh my goodness. Welcome to LiveVantage training. Woo! It is so fun being a kid. Woo! All right. Woo! All right, that's good. That is good. Look at Pawana. I don't think that's legal in school. Whew. Oh man. Yeah. Everybody get an extra pro tandem. That's why we take pro tandem, so we can do things like that. Do you want to take pro tandem so you can sit in a desk and take notes all day? So today, one of the things that we're doing is we're waking up who we are. If you were a genius 50 or 70 or 20 or 40 years ago, aren't you still that same person? That's not something that somebody can take away from you. It's only something that you can give up if you choose. And if you have given it up in the past, but you decide that you're going to take it back, it is authentically 100% yours. So we're teaching our children today to be their geniuses.
ผมก็สอนลูกๆของผมในวันนี้ให้เขาเนี่ยได้เป็นอัจฉริยะในตัวเอง
The most powerful thing you could ever do is to come in contact with who you really are. And then the most important thing that you could do with that knowledge is to show somebody else, is to help somebody else realize who they are. This crazy business of network marketing, which is perhaps the most misunderstood professional profession in the world, has given me and my wife and our children an opportunity to come in contact with who we are in a way that no other business, not small business ownership, which we've owned successfully, not corporate America or corporate any country, the corporate world, 10 years at $1 billion+ company in my cubicle, that couldn't give me. What they didn't teach me in business school, but which I already knew when I was 3 years old. So I'm proud to be an ambassador for what we call this profession of network marketing, which encompasses things like direct selling activities, social selling, affiliate marketing. That's this profession, and I hope you are absolutely proud of what you do because of who you are. What is this? It is a seed. It's a seed to a tree. Actually, it is a pine tree seed. And from that seed, you can have different types of outcomes. Because every pine tree is a little bit different. They might be in different locations. Maybe they're for different purpose. Some are for shade. Some are for ornament. Some are in gardens, public. Others may be in a private garden. Some grow massively tall. And others, like a bonsai, might be designed for small, minimalistic art. Each one is unique, but each has its own beautiful and special purpose. But each one of them is a pine tree. It is not anything else. It's not a maple tree. It's not a vegetable. Encoded in the DNA, the programming code inherent within each seed is the identity of that specimen. Each one of us came from a seed. Actually, in human biology, we actually came from two seeds. An ovum from a female and a sperm from a male, together combined to create a new life and a unique personality. Not just an egg, not just a sperm, not just a Homo sapien animal, but a unique creature of creation with a specific identity and spiritual personality. Every single one of us is the greatest miracle of all creation. Every one of us comes with that blueprint, that DNA, physical as well as spiritual, to make us genius. And then we go to school and we forget, and we're told that we must conform. Instead of becoming big, we need to be small. Instead of being bright, we need to tone it down. Instead of singing, we need to shut up. Instead of thinking creatively and outside of the box, we're told to get in the box. And so we don't manifest the absolute genius, creativity, unlimited potential in our lives. But are we still genius? Has that changed? Our environment has changed. And it's changed how we express ourselves. And maybe we're not living up to our privilege, our power, and our potential right now. But if we leave the surface and go deeper, who are we? Are we still that divine, most incredible miracle in all of creation? So I would like the one person who is the miracle in this room to stand up right now, please. You're learning. You weren't so slow this time. Doesn't it feel good to step into who you really are? Not who somebody told you you needed to be. The greatest thing in this world is a person who knows who she is or who he is. Why they are here, what they want to accomplish, and how they're going to do it. But we have to start at the bottom. And you need to know who you are. You need to feel it. It needs to be natural. You can sit down if you want, but you're the miracle. Do what you want. So, I want to talk to you about programming yourself, remembering who you are. I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't already know. You want to find your dream? Find yourself. Find that who. So, I'm going to share with you a little blueprint that you can remind yourself and reprogram to find your 3-year-old self again. And the number one place is, where did I come from? I am of divine origin. I am a son of God. Or you may say, I am a daughter of God. Literally the offspring of the creator of the universe. You're not here by accident. You're not here because you came from a frog. Unless the frog was a prince. You are of divine parentage and origin. If there is a king and a queen that rules the kingdom, and they have a baby, just like we talked about, and that child is you, Fa, then that makes you a prince or a princess. And the purpose of a prince or a princess, their divine origin and identity determines their future. Their identity determines the potential for their destiny. And what is the destiny of a prince or a princess? To be a king or a queen. To rule. Please remind yourself daily and say, as you look in that mirror, I am of divine origin. Will you say that to yourself out loud right now, please? Try it.
I am of divine origin ฉันเกิดจากพลังอำนาจสูงสุด
That's what I'm talking about.
นั่นแหละแบบนั้นเลย
Next, I am meant to receive good things. It is my right and my privilege to receive every good thing. I'm going to hold out my hand here and just wait because I know some mango sticky rice is just going to fall right into it. Every good thing. When I come to Thailand, I remind myself, I am meant to receive every good thing. And when I come to this event, I am going to receive good things that happen here. Just like a child. That beautiful, innocent, perfected, 3-year-old genius expects to receive every good thing. I'm going to call a friend. I'm going to call that friend whose name is in your pocket right now. Actually, pull that out, would you?
เอาออกมาหน่อยสิครับทุกคน
Pull it out, pull it out.
ขอดูหน่อยเอาคุณเป็น
Pull it out. Is that a pretty big person there? I'll trade you. I'm going to trade her. This is $100 in Japanese yen. I'm just going to trade her. I'll give you this. I give you your paper and you give me that paper. Why not?
Because I can make more money than if
Because if she can sponsor and they say yes, she can receive more than what you give.
Okay, but have you called them lately? So I'll give you 200.
ให้200แล้วกัน
I'll take 200.
300, 500.
500
No.
ไม่
So here's the deal though. You won't sell your dream to me, but don't give up on your dream because you forgot who you are. I am meant to receive good things. And when you call that person this week, you just remind yourself as you're calling them, I'm meant to receive good things because that's who I am. You're going to get a lot of no's.
เยอะแหละ
That's okay. I am meant to receive good things. I am strong. That was weak. I am enough. I am worthy. I am perfect. I am beautiful. I am a champion. I am me. If you want to picture this, go ahead and take a picture because I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna wrap up here. This is a quick blueprint to remind you of the grand and divine individual personality that you are. And every 4-year-old and 5-year-old already knows all of this stuff. And that's what we're going to go do. When you know who you are, the why, the what, the how, they just flow. Everything in your life gets easier. Even the hard things when you know who you are and you live true to that identity.
และคุณ
Where are you going? I've got American Express Platinum here.
นี่ต่อรองต่อบัตรอเมริกัน
You consider selling that name?
เลยขายไหม
No.
ไม่ขาย
Don't ever sell out your identity for something easy now. All right, we're going to wrap up. I want to show you something every single day. So we had this amazing discussion today. You've gotten some inspiration and some education. Now is the time for application and action. Every day of every day. Because you're going to go out in that world and they're going to kick you. They're going to throw you that boot at you. And they're going to tell you, no, you're not. You're nothing special. And you have to remember those 10 statements and other statements that you create. Whatever you need, you create that identity. I am a super recruiter. I'm a master enroller. I'm a master pro 10. I'm an elite pro 8. I write in this book what I want to accomplish. A little secret code about becoming master pro 10. Page after page. Over and over and over and over. That's what it takes. Every single day. Every single day, be true to who you are. And if you're true to who you are, then you will get the result. So we take one small pine seed and we plant it. And every day we nurture and we feed that seed so that it can live its identity, who it is. And nothing happens. You keep on working and working and working. But I planted the seed. I started my business. Seth, I'm reading the affirmations. Okay. Do it today. But I've been doing this for 22 days. And oftentimes, almost always actually, this is what you get when you start. What we want today is we want it right now. Because if I go work for somebody else at their company, I work today, they'll basically pay me right now today. But you start a business and you plant that seed and you get your hands dirty in the dirt and you start to pour the water on, you give the sunshine, And then you look up and you're like, where? Like, I have nothing to show for this. But just wait. Is the seed a true seed? Is it a pine tree seed? If it's a pine tree seed and it's alive inside and you plant it and you nurture it, then it will become a pine tree. What I can promise you is there is work going on where you cannot see it. If you will do that work to plant that seed, understand and nourish, the seed is already inside of you, your identity. You just have to nourish it. Even if you can't see the outward manifestation of it yet. And that's how we build a legacy. I witness to you, and I promise you that you are the greatest miracle in creation. You come from a divine origin. You are the prince, you are the princess of the king and queen of all creation. It is stamped, it is imprinted, it is within and through and innate in your very being. And you are worthy to receive every good thing in your life. This is your identity. And together we are going to unlock your destiny. I love you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's like a Sunday school.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you.